There it is, Abu Dhabi. Some of you will remember it as Fight Island, where the UFC travels after a great stop in Manchester. It is in Abu Dhabi with a bantamweight main event between Cory Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov.
We got a guy, Ian Parker, and if you just did what Ian said to do, parlays and everything, you would be up like 80-some%. This dude's calling knockouts in the second round. It's crazy how good he has been.
Warning. The opinion expressed by Chael is not an accurate representation of Ian's success rate. Gamble responsibly. He's the bad guy for a reason. How about that open? How about that open from Chael Sonnen for UFC Best Bets? And you know what? They made me read that graphic, but it was against my will because everybody knows that absolutely everything that Chael Sonnen says is accurate about everything, Ian Parker.
I disagree. I think there's a reason why he's undefeated and undisputed, and that remains true even with that statement. I love Uncle Chael. That was great, and you read that perfectly.
And you never know when Chael's just going to drop a soundbite. Apparently, that was during the taping of his other show. He just casually is mentioning Ian Parker on a regular basis over there on ESPN MMA YouTube channel. We have got a big one to talk about this week, but first we look back at UFC 304, and I'm seeing a lot of green on that card, Ian.
Of all times to capture that Chael audio, this was the one. We went 5-1 our best bets. We were one Preston Parsons short of a sweep there. We hit Arnold Allen, Wood Pineda over 1.5 rounds. That is strictly because Pineda is a dog. Rodriguez Duncan, I told you RoboCop is a live dog. That dude flying under the radar. Parsons lost to Oban Elliott, who looked great. Lukaskis Prakio, that was a real sweat. And Shanaban, we got there. We missed out on our parlay by a meatball molly, but we went 2-1 in our props. Profitable there. Excellent night in Manchester. Now off to Fight Island we go.
Absolutely. And it's kind of nice, right? And Dana White's been talking about this, that they're going to get out of the Apex. They're going to go explore the world again. And they've got a good one here in Abu Dhabi. Cory Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagomedov headlining a 6-fight main card. And take a programming note there, Saturday, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, because it's on ABC and ESPN+. Big ABC card, so it's a big fight at bantamweight in the headliner, Ian. And Cory Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagomedov, this is a fight that they wanted to happen 1 year ago, and there's no secret why, right? Cory Sandhagen is as proven as they come, I think, at this point, and Umar Nurmagomedov, the ceiling on this guy, it seems to be non-existent, and that's why he's the big favorite here.
Look, you know what? Umar is a extremely high potential blue chip prospect, as we like to call it when it comes to professional sports, right? But if you look at all of these names, Brett, 1 through 12, what is something that you recognize? Because I certainly see that not any of them have fought against Umar Nurmagomedov. He hasn't beat them yet. So he hasn't fought anyone essentially in the top 12. Besides him being ranked number 10. And you got Cory Sandhagen, who's a perennial contender. He's fought at the top. He has fought the best. I mean, Rob Font, Chito Vera, Song Yadong, he looked fantastic in all those fights. And the fact that he's this big of an underdog says 2 things. One, the books believe and everyone believes Umar is the real deal, which I do too. But Cory Sandhagen, I like Hagen better, but Sandhagen, he should not be this big of a dog. Number one, on the feet, he is a fantastic striker, high IQ level, everything, keeps his distance really well. And outside of the Aljamain Sterling fight where he was finished, he doesn't make too many mistakes. He knows how to protect himself at all times, meaning he's very defensively sound. And, you know, if you're going to play Umar here, I would say by decision because he could out-wrestle Cory for 5 rounds. But Cory's wrestling has gotten so much better. If he keeps it on the feet, I think from a distance striking with his range, he'll have an advantage there. Umar's hands are still very good. There's a reason why everyone thinks he's got such an infinite ceiling, as you call it. But I can't pass up on Cory Sandhagen at plus 260. I think there's a lot of value there. If you want to go a little bit further, I do think this fight will probably go bell to bell. Over 4.5 rounds, I believe, is sitting at minus 190. Yesterday, it was at over 3.5 at minus 190, so someone obviously loaded up there. But give me Shaggy here. Cory Sandhagen at plus 260 in a 5-round fight. I think he's live here. I really do.
A lot of analysis there fit into that main event. And yeah, it's one of those situations where we all know how good we think Umar is, but we haven't seen it yet. And to pay minus 340 for something that you haven't seen yet against a guy like Cory Sandhagen, do it at your own risk. Let's talk about the co-main event. Sharda Magomedov taking on Michał Oleksiejczuk, the Pirate. A lot of excitement, obviously, around this guy's fighting style. How do you see this co-main event going, Ian?
Well, first off, the Pirate's a lot of fun to watch on the feet. His takedown defense consists of grabbing the cage when he's going to get taken down. But fortunately here, he's fighting a striker who's more than willing to be kill or be killed. And for Olin Jacek, he literally posted on social media, if I lose this fight, which I probably will, then I'm done with the sport. That leads me to believe that he thinks he's being fed to the Lions here, except it's to a Pirate. I like Shara Bullet here. I think he's going to put his striking on full display. I don't think he's going to have to worry about takedowns, and we're going to see a very fun fight here, and I think he gets it done.
Yeah, that's not exactly the messages you want to be sending before a fight. If I lose, which I probably will. Did he really say that? What did he say on Twitter?
Someone posted on Twitter and said, why would you sign up for this fight? You're going to lose. And he said, probably. And when I do, or if I do, then I probably shouldn't compete in the sport anymore. So when you see something like that, sometimes these fighters will troll back. To me, that kind of felt like he was accepting, like, you know what? You're probably right. And for us, we're like, you know what? You probably are right. Let's take Shara Bullet.
Well, that's a good find there by Ian Parker. You're getting the inside info here on UFC Best Bets, as always. All right, let's move to the third fight of this ABC card. It is Chito Vera taking on Deiveson Figueiredo. How do you see this one going?
You know what, Brett? Chito took that knee to the head. It sounded like a coconut being split in half, and yet he's fighting prior to Sean O'Malley. I love Deiveson Figueiredo in this fight. Chito has been out-grappled before for 3 rounds with no answer. He's a better 5-round fighter. He gives away round 1. Slow starter. Give me Figgy. This is one of my favorite plays on the card.
All right, taking Figgy at -150. What are we doing with Tony Ferguson taking on Michael Chiesa this fight at 170 pounds?
Dear Lord, I honestly see why people might want to take a shot at Tony here because Chiesa looked terrible against Kevin Holland, but he's going to have such a size advantage here, and Tony is small for 170, so if you're going to play this, I would go Chiesa by sub at +120.
Okay, from there, another exciting fight in the strawweight division is Mackenzie Dern taking on Lupi Godinez. You like Godinez here at about pick-em odds.
You know what? Lupi's been our go-to often here. I think in this matchup, it may look a lot like against how she fought Verna, where she didn't get subbed. However, Mackenzie Dern is just so reckless. I think Lupi is the better boxer, can out-wrestle her. As long as she doesn't get submitted, I think she gets it done and will take it by decision.
And rounding out our 6-fight main card, it's at 155 pounds. Elvis Brené taking on Joel Alvarez. You like Alvarez here as about 2-1 favorite.
I do. I liked it better when it was -185 earlier this morning. This fight's not going to see all 3 rounds. Brenner is tough, but he makes a lot of mistakes, and Alvarez is such a big guy in this weight class. We're going to go with the favorite in this one.
All right, so there you go. 6 picks, 6 leans, even a little bit more analysis on all 6 of those fights. I love this card, man. Love this card coming to us from Abu Dhabi. We got prelims to talk about as well. They start at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. Take it away for your prelim picks, Ian.
Well, look, Mendenfield's coming off a bad knockout to Oberg, and he's fighting someone, Azamat Murzakanov, who's a very talented fighter, was great on Dana White Contender Series, has looked pretty solid, keeps getting better. I would play that at -220. Yahya and Fernandez, we're going to go over 1.5. And Brett, I forgot Murzakanov long shot. How can I forget this long shot prop? Round 2, TKO KO. I think he beats up Mendenfield in round 1, gets it done in round 2. So as I mentioned, Yahya Fernandez over 1.5. Let's skip to the big boys. You know how much I love a Don'Tale Mace fight. I don't, because whenever we take him or go against him, somehow we don't guess the right end here, though. Shamil Gaziev, very talented guy, coming off a loss. I think he gets it done here. Gurm versus Eugenic over 2.5. That's going to be a very fun fight. Give me Dudikovo over Sam Hughes. Bedoya as the dog, and over 1.5. And Dumas versus Tuluan. And that's going to be your prelims.
Well, as Chael told you at the beginning of the show, Ian's not just hitting picks, he's hitting the round in which these fights are ending. So go ahead and give us your props of the night, Ian, that have been hitting so far on the UFC Best Bet show.
Yeah, last week we went 2 out of 3 on our props. That was a lot of fun. Mick Parkin got his first knockout. We had him by decision. Go figure. But give me Shara Bullet to win this one at TKO or KO. It's only -115. I'm very surprised there. And Deiveson Figueiredo to win by decision. That's my favorite prop. He's my favorite play on the whole card. We saw his grappling against Cody Garbrandt. He's going to do the same thing to Chito. But Chito's very smart off his back, defensively sound. So decision is going to be the prop there.
All right, I like it. There are Parker's props. Let's move to Parker's parlay for UFC Fight Night.
Yeah, we had a 4-week parlay win streak going to last week. Time to get back on track. We're going a little chalky here, but a win's a win. Give me Shara give me Fernandez and Gaziev at plus 144. 3 wins. Get to the pay window the way I like it.
Yeah, the Parker's parlay is supposed to be a little chalky. This one is not. How about the long shot parlay of the week?
Definitely not chalky when it comes to the long shot. I'm going to go Cory Sandhagen here at plus 260 in a 5-round fight where Umar is not done yet or fought anyone in the top 10. I'm going to go with this number. Give me Chiesa by submission. I just think his size, he's going to lean against Tony on the cage, take the back. I could see it happening. And Rolando Bedoya and Jai Herbert, I think it's going to go over. I think Bedoya can win that fight. Herbert outside against fighting Topuria, very durable, gets it by decision. Plus 3,068 for 3 guys to win with only 2 method victories. Let's take it as the long shot this week.
Yeah, that's looking good for 30 to 1 there. Very, very doable. And how about Parker's best bets? We'll wrap up the show with your best bets, Ian.
Coming off that 5-1 week, let's keep it going. Give me Figgy in the co-main. I'm going to go with Loopy at even odds here. I think that number is about right. I love the value there. Murzakanov, minus 220. I don't know if I'd go any higher there, but I just don't see where he loses. Very smart fighter, flying under the radar in that division. Give me Dudakova. I think Sam Hughes against lower-level talent can out-cardio people. I think Dudakova is a real live prospect. Let's get her on the money line. Herbert Bedoya over 2.5 rounds. And last but not least, the first fight on the card, Dumas Tululin over 1.5. Dumas, all 3 fights have gone there. Tululin, most have gone over the 1.5 mark. Let's take a shot on that one to open the card.
Bang. There you go. Very, very clean show by our expert here, Ian Parker. Chael Sonnen's favorite gambling expert, of course, Ian Parker. Again, you can find those fights on ABC this weekend at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. Enjoy the fight cards and come right back to UFC Best Bets next week. We'll be talking about the UFC Fight Night next week at the Apex in Las Vegas. Enjoy this weekend.